Hi again, Pastor Tom Carter, Word Without Walls Ministry, with another guerrilla gospel video for you. The title of tonight's message is Falling. And right before I started with this video, my son Logan, say hi Logan,
Hi.
asked me what I was going to preach about tonight, and I told him that I was going to preach about falling. And he asked me if I meant like when you're running on the playground and you fall. And I told him not exactly. I told him when we're thinking about the idea of falling, it's more along the lines of failing. But I've always said that the only true failure is failure to keep trying. The only true failure is giving up. And that's kind of what it says in one of my I want to use two key verses tonight. And the first one is Proverbs 24:16. In the King James Bible it says, "For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief." And again, it can almost have the literal, I fell down, I need to pick myself back up, like literal aspect of falling. But in the same way, sometimes in our lives, we'll try something and it won't go the way that we think it should go, and we will have to rise up again. Almost, not to be too dramatic, but almost, like the phoenix from the ashes. Oh, bless me. It's the idea of, picking yourself up and brushing yourself off and saying, well, that didn't work, so now how can we make it work? Because I completely and totally believe that you learn more from quote unquote failure than you do from success. If you never make any mistakes, you can't learn from your mistakes. If you never get out of your comfort zone, you'll never be able to get anything other than what you've always got. You know the old saying, if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. You have to go out on a limb sometimes, which I think is okay, because going out on a limb, that's where the fruit is. The fruit is on the limb of the trees. And I always like to talk about how Jesus is the vine and we are the branches. So going out on a limb is really just being ourselves to our most full degree, if I can say it that way, to our most full potential. So if we can fall 7 times and rise up again, then we have room to make mistakes. We have room to learn and grow. We have room to operate and to try things, and not everything you do is going to work out exactly the way you think it should. That's just part and parcel of life. You try things, you make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes, and you keep moving on. But there's a whole nother aspect of this verse in Proverbs where we have to understand, who the Bible is talking about every single time. It's talking about Jesus. Jesus is the just man. Hebrews talks about how he went through everything we went through, yet without sin. So for him to fall, it's not, I'm not saying Jesus isn't the perfect one. I'm saying he is the one who rose up again. And that number 7 is the number of perfection in the Bible. So if you fall 7 times, then rise up again, then you've got to perfection, or the unity of the faith, or the perfect faith, or all these maturation, the maturation process again of learning and growing that I always like to talk about so much. It's a process. It's a lifelong, it's an everlasting lifelong journey into the heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter is God's heart beating with love in our chest. So again, when we understand that we're going out on a limb to get the fruit, and then we understand that we are the limb and that Jesus has produced the fruit, we understand that, he is the one picking us up every time we fall, if I can say it that way. And we're going to take that even a step further in just a minute. But I really kind of want to hit this point home where you should never be afraid to live. All right? To live is to love, and to love is to live. Right? And perfect love casts out all fear, right? So we can live fearlessly when we love fearlessly. When we see a need and we meet that need. And just as a real quick aside, if you see a need and you can meet it, just do it. You don't have to pray about it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to make sure that that's God's will. Loving people is always God's will because that's who God is. God is love. That's just not just what he does, that's who he is. And because it's who he is, that's why it's what he does. We don't do in order to be, we do because we be. We don't do in order to get, we do because we've already got what we need. So when we're trying new things, when we're falling and then getting back up and brushing ourselves off, or again letting Jesus help us up, I think it's important to understand that I really think photobomb. I really think we go through things most of the time for two reasons. We go through things A, so we can learn from them, and B, so we can use what we've learned to help others get through those same things, because we all go through the same things. Maybe not exactly the same thing, but as individual as this human experience is, it's also very universal. We all go through the same stuff. We're all trying to make it in large part in the same way. We all get tired, we all get hungry, we all get cranky, all these different things. We can relate to each other if we'll build bridges instead of building walls. If we will understand that, well, I fell down, so now my brother has fallen down. I don't need to condemn him. I don't need to kick him while he's down. I've been there. I've done that. I've got the t-shirt. Now I can help him up just as Jesus helped me up. Because when Jesus helped me up, he probably did it in the form of another person. I always hear people say God works in mysterious ways. And in a sense, that's true because God works through people, and people are kind of mysterious sometimes. People are hard to figure out sometimes. So again, if somebody has helped us, we can then, what's that movie, Pay It Forward? We can, if we've been helped, we can help. Because you can't give what you don't have, and you can only give what you do have. So once you've fallen and once you've rose again, which again I think is a good way to say it, because that's what happened on the cross. Jesus died and then rose again as that seventh complete perfect time. Once we know that he has done that for us, then he can start to do that as us. Once we know that he has helped us when we've fallen, then we know that we can help each other when we see somebody fall. And now I want to end this guerrilla gospel, this minced meat, easy to chew, not going to choke on it, quick hit and run gospel message. I want to end it in Jude chapter 1 verse 24, which even takes this whole deal a step further, because chances are you're going to fall. And what I'm trying to say tonight is, if you do, when you do, pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and keep going. But there's even another step to this where Jude 1:24 says, "Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling, and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy." See, Jesus will pick you up when you fall. And when I say Jesus, I mean love, right? Jesus, God in the flesh, love in a body, our true identity, our true selves. Love will pick you up when you fall. And again, it will probably come in the form of another person loving you when you're down, when you feel like you're down and out, when you feel like you can't do it anymore, or when you feel like you can't do it yourself, when you're at the end of your rope. And I always hear, my pastor always says, when you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. And when the truth of the matter is, we think we're hanging on to Jesus with everything we've got, and he's really saying, I'm hanging on to you with everything I've got. And everything I've got is a lot more than everything you've got. And the best part is that he gave us everything that he's got. God wanted the best for us, so he gave the best to us. He gave us his only begotten son so that he could keep us from falling, so that he could keep us. So, and listen, if God, if Jesus, if love is holding you up, nothing can bring you down. Love is all powerful because God is all powerful. And all powerful doesn't mean most powerful, it means all of the power. So if God is holding you up, nothing can bring you down. If he's carrying you, you don't have to worry about falling. And even if you do fall, he's going to pick you up anyway. So again, my I'm hoping to encourage you tonight to don't be afraid to live. Don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to go out there and try something. Don't be afraid to be your true self, to do that thing that lights your soul on fire. That thing is, that's what God put in you. That's why God created you. That's why you're here, and that's what you're supposed to do. And it may not go smoothly. You know, you have to try things. I think I'm a big believer that you have to do things wrong before you can do them right, because you have to learn how to do them. And the best way to learn is kind of on the job training. You learn by doing. So again, I'm hopefully encouraging you. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to live. Don't be afraid to love. Be who you are to your fullest potential. If you fall, get back up. He will help you up, and he will keep you from falling. So that's what I have. That's what was on my heart tonight. Sometimes things don't go the way you want them to. Don't give up. Keep going. Thank you as always for all of your support with JesusRant.com, with the rants and the videos and the books. I really appreciate you guys' support. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Amen.